Welcome to our show, Trump Briefing. In today's headlines, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker has made waves by delivering a marathon speech lasting over 17 hours. This impressive feat was aimed at protesting President Trump's agenda, especially concerning cuts to Social Security. With letters from constituents in hand and support from fellow Democrats, Booker is solidifying his role as a key figure in the opposition. In other news, the U.S. government has flagged Quebec's French language reform as a foreign trade barrier. Bill 96, which requires companies to translate product packaging into French, has raised concerns among U.S. businesses as President Trump prepares to impose new tariffs on Canada. The Biden administration is keeping a close eye on how this law could impact trade relations. Finally, Liberal leader Mark Carney is pivoting his campaign to focus on affordability as Trump readies new tariffs. Carney is proposing tax cuts and increased housing availability to combat the economic threat posed by these tariffs. With recent political shakeups, including the resignation of a candidate, Carney aims to reassure Canadians amidst these challenging times. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. The Toronto Star reports on New Jersey Senator Cory Booker's remarkable endurance as he delivered a marathon speech in the Senate, lasting over 17 hours. This extraordinary display aimed to voice the Democratic Party's objections to President Trump's sweeping agenda. Beginning his speech on Monday evening, Booker emphasized the urgency of the current political climate, stating, "These are not normal times in our nation." He passionately criticized proposed cuts to Social Security and shared constituents' concerns, including fears about annexation and a potential constitutional crisis. Throughout the night, he was supported by fellow Democrats, including Senator Chris Murphy, who reciprocated the camaraderie Booker had shown him during his own lengthy speech for gun control in 2016. In another article, the U.S. government has identified Quebec's French language reform, Bill 96, as a trade barrier, coinciding with President Trump's plans to impose new tariffs on Canada. This law mandates that companies translate trademarks into French, which has raised concerns among U.S. businesses. The Biden administration had previously expressed apprehension about the law's potential impact on trade relations, highlighting the ongoing tensions between the two countries. As Trump prepares to enact reciprocal tariffs in response to various trade practices, the implications of this legislation are being closely monitored. Additionally, Liberal leader Mark Carney has shifted his campaign focus to affordability in light of impending U.S. tariffs. He warns that Canadians are facing an unprecedented crisis as Trump seeks to reshape the U.S. economy, which could weaken Canada. Carney proposes measures to alleviate financial burdens on Canadians, including tax cuts and investments in housing and childcare. His recent decision to end the consumer carbon tax is positioned as a significant move to save Manitoba families money. Amidst political turmoil, including the resignation of a Liberal candidate over controversial remarks, Carney's campaign seeks to present a united front against external economic pressures. The Toronto Star reports that President Donald Trump is preparing to unveil his latest tariff strategy during a Make America Wealthy Again event in the White House Rose Garden. Scheduled for 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, Trump has dubbed the day Liberation Day, aiming to implement reciprocal tariffs that would raise U.S. duties to match those imposed by other nations on imports. The implications of these tariffs for Canada remain uncertain, particularly as Trump has previously linked tariffs on Canada and Mexico to the flow of fentanyl. Since his return to office, Trump has created volatility in global markets with his unpredictable trade policies, leaving many to speculate on the potential outcomes of his latest moves. CNN highlights the remarkable success of Newsmax's initial public offering, IPO, which has seen stock prices soar from $10 to over $130 per share, transforming CEO Chris Ruddy into a billionaire on paper. This surge in stock value reflects a significant shift in investor sentiment, as many believe that Newsmax, a pro-Trump news outlet, is gaining traction against established competitors like Fox News. However, despite the enthusiasm, caution is warranted due to the network's financial struggles and ongoing defamation lawsuits related to the 2020 election. The IPO was partly a response to these legal challenges, with the company needing funds to navigate the potential fallout. As Newsmax continues to leverage its audience for investment, the question remains whether this momentum can be sustained amidst a challenging media landscape. The Independent reports on Canadian singer Michael Bublé's poignant remarks at the 2025 Juno Awards, where he directly addressed President Trump's provocative suggestion that Canada should become the 51st state of the U.S. In an emotional speech, Bublé passionately affirmed his pride in being Canadian and emphasized the country's unique identity and resilience. His comments come in the wake of Trump's threats to impose heavy tariffs on Canadian goods, which have sparked fears of a trade war. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has also condemned Trump's remarks, asserting that such disrespectful comments hinder constructive trade discussions. As tensions rise, Bublé's declaration that Canada is not for sale resonates with many Canadians who are fiercely protective of their sovereignty and national pride. South China Morning Post: the legacy of George Washington looms large over the U.S. presidency, particularly regarding the two-term limit he set by voluntarily stepping down after his second term. This precedent has shaped the expectations of presidential tenure, with only Franklin D. Roosevelt breaking the mold during World War II, winning a third term in 1940 under the guise of necessity. However, the aftermath of his presidency saw the ratification of the 22nd Amendment, which firmly established the two-term limit for future presidents. Donald Trump's potential bid for a third term in 2028 raises questions about the constitutional interpretations and the long-standing traditions upheld by voters, who have consistently supported the two-term principle. The historical context reveals that while some presidents, like Theodore Roosevelt and Ulysses S. Grant, attempted to pursue a third term, they ultimately failed, reinforcing the importance of Washington's decision as a cornerstone of American democracy. Associated Press: in a troubling incident, the Trump administration has admitted to erroneously deporting Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, a Maryland man with protected legal status, to a dangerous prison in El Salvador. Abrego Garcia, who fled gang violence as a teenager, was sent to the notorious terrorism confinement center despite a 2019 immigration judge ruling against his deportation due to the risk of persecution. Activists and legal advocates are outraged, arguing that the U.S. government has failed to substantiate claims of gang affiliations against him. The administration's acknowledgement of an administrative error raises serious concerns about the treatment of immigrants and the integrity of the deportation process, as they continue to argue against his return based on unproven allegations of gang ties. Associated Press: Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey recently took to the Senate floor for an impassioned speech against President Trump's agenda, reflecting his frustration with the current political climate. Booker, who has a history of advocating for social justice and community support, voiced his concerns about potential cuts to healthcare and social programs, as well as Trump's controversial proposals regarding foreign policy. His speech, marked by emotional appeals and references to literature and personal stories from constituents, underscores the struggles faced by many Americans amid a backdrop of partisan division. Despite being a member of the minority party in the Senate, Booker's efforts to rally support for progressive values highlight the ongoing battle over the direction of the nation's policies and the importance of unity in addressing the challenges ahead. Al Jazeera reports that during a recent three-day visit to Moscow, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi emphasized the enduring friendship between China and Russia, declaring they are friends forever, never enemies. This visit included discussions with President Vladimir Putin and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, amidst ongoing tensions related to the Ukraine conflict and evolving U.S.-Russia relations. Wang highlighted the importance of their strategic partnership, which was solidified shortly before Russia's military actions in Ukraine in February 2022. He expressed China's readiness to play a constructive role in resolving the Ukraine crisis while also supporting Russia's interests. During the talks, Putin expressed satisfaction with the bilateral relationship, and preparations were discussed for a significant visit by President Xi Jinping to Moscow for the 80th anniversary of the Victory Parade in May. Wang noted that current global dynamics necessitate major powers acting as stabilizing forces, acknowledging recent efforts by Russia and the U.S. to improve relations. He dismissed the notion that U.S. President Trump is trying to leverage Russia against China, calling such ideas outdated. Wang also pointed out that while recent ceasefire talks in Ukraine have yielded some progress, achieving peace requires continued effort and commitment from all parties involved. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.